Welcome to the Dad's Corner, where fathers unite and stand strong against the challenges that life throws our way.
Here, we celebrate the victories, learn from the defeats, and support each other through every step of this incredible journey.
Father, please grant me the strength to withstand the shots and shooting like Teflon. Running through these obstacles, all the opposition gets stepped on. Dedicated to the mission, steadfast in my commitment, and I'm standing on business. You with me? Father time, the enemy crossed the line. Trying in my head, but I'm of sound mind. This is by design, putting it all on the line. I will lift my hands, I get down, I get down, I get down for mine. Hit like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Go hard like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Hit like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Go hard like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Hit like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Go hard like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Hit like Father time, yeah, I get down for mine. Go hard like Father time, yeah.
What's up? Episode 2
We made it.
Dad's Corner, bro. We made it. What? You just told me a statistic.
Yeah, most podcasts only last 3 episodes.
So we're
halfway there.
We're halfway there.
We're there for being. We're almost successful.
We're almost successful.
It's
man.
crazy.
So, yeah, the Dad's Corner. This is a space for all the dads, the fathers, the mentors, the coaches, the leaders of this world who are leading their families, their communities to success. And that's what we're here for. Is we're here to be your sounding board. If you have any ideas, any questions, any thoughts, any topics that you want to talk about, definitely reach out to us. We're excited to talk about them. But today, on this episode right here, we're going to be talking about playing with the kids, like playing with your kids.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Playing with your kids, man. I love playing with my sons, my daughters. Like, I love playing with
And
my
it's
kids.
different.
It's
Playing with both of them is different.
dude, it is so fun.
You would think a 4-year-old is a 4-year-old, but it is not.
It's so fun, man.
Yeah.
And what's funny is like they can't get enough of it. So you start playing and it's like, okay, man, that was fun. And you go do something. Hey, Dad.
This is what upset me. On Father's Day, son comes up to me and says, hey, let's go do this. We go play. We go do this. We go do that. 10 minutes later, he goes, hey, let's go do this. I was like, could you give me a second? You never play with me. I said, oh my God, I've given you 4 straight years. Every day, give me just it's Father's Day, give me just 10 minutes. Like, I'll play. And then I got to sitting there and I felt so guilty. Because he hit me with the you never, and I'm like, man, we played cars, we played some basketball, we did all these things, and then he asked me to kick the soccer ball, and I'm like, just 1 second, buddy, I'm sitting here talking to Mom, and then I was like, get up, like, you can talk to her when they go to bed, like, you know what I mean, like, get up and go do it. And so, but it was funny, because as soon as he said, you don't ever, I'm like, I don't ever flip this table, what are you talking about? I don't ever.
I just think that it's something about playing with your children, like in this episode, like I'm talking about playing with my children. It's something about watching somebody who's just like you at that age play, and to see little things, and you get so impressed by just little developments.
Oh yeah,
little things that happen, little things that
like
come up.
They're geniuses.
Yeah. And so it's really cool to watch. It's almost like playing with you as a child. Like, like it's like playing with myself as a child,
me.
with the younger version of me. And I think that that's really cool, man. And like, I love it. As I'm getting older, it looks a little bit different. It does. It looks
on the body.
Definitely. So like, my oldest, Anaya, like, I used to go to the gym, like I used to play basketball and leagues and all this stuff all the time, after college and all that stuff. Like, we used to just go and we'd play ball, and she would always be in the gym with me, like just, sitting over there. She'd be dribbling her little ball over on the side, and I'd be playing, like, when we're going, I'm dunking on people, I'm doing all this stuff, shooting, and we're running the gym and all this stuff. And then fast forward to yesterday. Dex had a basketball camp, and I even coach. I coached the Thailand's basketball last year. I coached Dex. I'm going to continue to coach Dex now that she's moving up into grade school, like into middle school and all that stuff. They've got their own sports coaches and stuff. But yesterday, this basketball camp, I'm watching Dex and he's doing good. Like he's been on this dribble up stuff. And so he's got some handles. He won a little award yesterday. I was so proud dad moment.
Heck yeah.
So that was awesome. But after the basketball camp, I get out there and I'm shooting around. I'm just shooting with some of the kids. Some of the high school kids are there too. I'm shooting with them. And one of the high school kids, he's going up and he goes to try to dunk. And he's like,
tomahawk, like he's trying
to really kill the rim. And I'm like, dude, okay, hey, whenever you're dunking, to really dunk, you have to really like throw it down, like put it in the goal. Like you don't have to like slam it every time. Like just put it in there. You get into that habit. And so I went up there and I'm going up and I was like, let me show you. And I jumped a couple times and, was just kind of barely putting it over the rim. And then I was like, you know what? And so I haven't warmed up. I kind of stretched a little bit, but I haven't like done like a real stretch like I need to.
Yeah.
At 38. Gosh, dude. And so I go. And
Don't tell me you dunked it.
I did dunk it, but I wish I wouldn't have tried like I did. Like I went down, like I got really animated about it so that way I could get up there. And I did it. And all night last night, my wife, she just had to hear me complain, like my knee, like I'm walking around.
You almost said my parents.
I almost did.
I was like, I'm not gonna let you slide on that one.
Bro, let me make it.
No, I heard it.
Let me make it.
You said my wife heard me complaining.
Like, so I'm complaining, bro. Like my knee hurts all night. I wake up this morning, my knee is hurting. My knee hurts right now. Like, it's a different type of play. So, like, I have to, and I knew that I needed to warm up. Like, I needed to stretch and all that stuff. Like, my stretching looks a little bit different now.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I have to stretch.
A little more rigid now too.
Whereas I used to be able to stretch for, 5-10 minutes and be able to go 2 or 3 hours on the court. Now it's kind of the other way around. Like I need to be stretching at least 2 hours prior to and kind of do a little bit of stretching here and there leading up to play about 15 minutes.
Oh yeah. So used to we'd do the warm-up lines and that was about the only stretch you got. That's all you needed.
Yeah. But no, it's just different, bro. It's just different. Like, and I love playing with my kids. Like I love it. And
disrespectfully, but it's incredible that you can still dunk.
Thank you, man. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm a little heavier.
I set goals for myself every year, like physical goals.
Yeah.
And so the two main goals I had this year was I wanted to be able to dunk by the end of the year. Like I can grab rim, but I wanted to be able. And I'm not trying to go from the free throw line. I just want to be able to gather step, jump, like 2-leg, normal jump. The other one was I wanted to bench press 315.
Okay.
And so that one's going to be a whole lot easier to hit for me because I've never dunked it. Like, just because it was never. So I grew up where I grew up at. We played all the good teams. And so I played against like Darren McFadden. Whenever he was in high school, he just won the Landers Player of the Year in Arkansas.
Great.
I guarded him the next night, but he wasn't as good at basketball as he was at football. I mean, football he'd run you over.
But he's athlete. Athletes are athletes.
Yeah. So in basketball, especially at the high school level, depending on your competition, if you're an athlete, you can overcome not being good.
Yeah.
Just because you're 6'5", 6'6", 270.
Yeah.
A man at the age of 18. Here I am, like, man, I got some facial hair. What's going on?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's just crazy. So like, and I've been doing the same thing that you did, except I was at gym here. We joined the league. Me and some buddies were like, let's do it. We hadn't done it in forever. Like it's been years. Let's do it. No practice ahead of time. No real warm ups. You get out there, and one thing you cannot ever overcompensate for is how you shoot and how you play when you're tired. So it's easy to be out there shooting when you're not winded but then you take that first shot after you've run up and down that court a few times and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm past, oh man. But we're playing against teams who have been playing together for a long time. We thought we joined this league and they said it was a men's league. Well, I think when you say a men's league, you got to be like 35 or higher. You shouldn't be able to play if you're younger than that. Because we're playing teams like guys who just graduated college.
Yeah.
Guys who are 6'7", 6'8". Like they may even still be in college playing, like D2, and even D2. I mean, them guys are big dudes. And man, they're running up and down the court. First team we played, I bet they dunked 18 times in a game. And it was one of those where we got to the point where we're just like, we can't even get back.
That's
like
funny.
We're so winded. And we look like them old guys who like washed up. They were like, I bet y'all were good 15 years ago. But we're up there and it's like, I'm one of the tallest guys on our team. So I'm like, I'm guarding a 6'7", 6'8" dude. Well, that's not, I mean, he could shoot over me.
Yeah.
Now, you ain't dunking on me. Like, nobody's dunking on me. Okay? I mean, I'm a good Christian fella, but you try to dunk on me. I'm hard fouling.
Bro, I said
catching
that,
an elbow.
I said that about that championship game, that NBA championship game. I said they're leaving the game right now. Like they still got 2 minutes. I said at this point I'm gonna use my fouls.
Oh, yeah. And then Kyrie went up and down the bench on the Celtics. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Get back on the other side.
That's hilarious, man.
But no, it is. I mean, it's different. That's why I think about like back in the day, Dad playing out in the yard with me, and I'm thinking, man, like I used to think, oh, he's a little slower. He's not really as quick. And now that I'm about the age that he was, I'm thinking, you got to work harder for it. Like you got to. Oh, it does.
It comes full circle. I used to be that team. Like I used to go out there with my buddies, fresh out of college.
Oh yeah,
and be that team that's going to that's running on these older guys. And now I'm the older guys. So I feel you. Like,
but you know what I did to compensate for that? I said, you know what, y'all may be younger, y'all may be faster, but I own a company. I'm gonna have us some nice jerseys. I had nice jerseys made. We were it was PTLs, praise the Lord, and we just had like a big cross right in the middle. And it was like we got God on our side. Well, who y'all got? And so we had our names on the back. We had numbers that were reversible. I had us looking. We're gonna lose. We're gonna look good.
We're gonna look good. But no, I think you bring up a good point though. Like as a child playing with my dad, and him exerting the energy to play with me, like, playing catch in the yard or playing basketball in the yard. And then him progressing to go and coach me and teach me some of the things. Like my dad was a world-class athlete, was an awesome athlete, played professional baseball, all these different things. And then whenever he had me, like he was there. Like he had a full-time job, great job, but like he took the time to make sure that he trained up a child, that he trained me up. And it made me a good athlete. Like I love doing it. And I can only imagine that he saw the way that I see, like, is that this is me, This is little me. All his friends call me Little Tony. Like his name is Tony. Like his name is Anthony. And my name is Anthony. Like, and so, it's kind of, it comes full circle. And so him coaching my baseball, my basketball, my soccer, like all these different things, I'll show Dex, a picture and he'll be like, oh man, that's you. But sometimes, just like what you were saying, like sometimes he shows, he thinks it is him too.
Yeah.
And,
we had that happen.
Yeah.
So I had a picture of my grandpa in overalls out at their place and he's holding me and I've got these little pair of overalls on. It's the funniest thing. Well, my son looked at it and goes, who's holding me? And I was like, well, that's not you, buddy. That's Daddy. And I said, that's Pawpaw right there. And he said, and he was like confused. And so I'm like, Nini's husband, like that's Pawpaw. It's because every single guy in our family is called Pawpaw. So sometimes you got to like narrow it down.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's Daddy and Pawpaw. And I got to talking to Casey about it. And I thought, I remember when I was probably 4 in the pic, maybe two or 3 in the picture. And I remember thinking, like my grandpa was probably in his 60s at that time, 50s, 60s, probably 60s. And I was thinking, man, 10 to 15 years later, I'm out in that front yard playing basketball. He was still out there with us, you know? And it's like, if I can be in my 60s or 70s, still able to just go out and shoot, like, that's incredible. Like, but and when you're that young, I was like, come on, Papa, come play with us, you know, not thinking, man, this man is 60s, 70 years old. Like, it's not easy to get out in the yard, but I remember now, I remember the times him doing it. I remember we being out there, we had the basketball goal on the side of a barn, and when you go to do a layup, I can dunk that goal. I don't know if it was, it might have been like nine and a half, but I can dunk it. But I remember you had to, like, when you were going for a layup, you couldn't go full force.
You couldn't go through.
Because it had the gate. So if you did, you ended up in the fence. And oh man, it's so funny because I just remember being like, I grew up on a basketball goal on the side of a barn. Like, that was my goal.
That's awesome.
You know, it wasn't in a gym, and it wasn't at a park. Like, it was, and even at my house that I grew up in, we had a 4x4 post in the ground with basketball on it, or with a goal at the top. And so it was like, man, I'm out there on rocks dribbling. So it was like, you never really could get a good handle because you never knew how I was going to hit that rock and go which way.
We played with egg crates, bro, like with those milk crates, you know, like I said egg crates, like we were shooting eggs.
I was like, I want to know how you did it.
No, with those milk crates, like cutting the bottom out of them, and just like, I mean, you know, it's and here's the thing is that it's that perspective, and I forget who said it. It's one of the presidents I've been able to see so far because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. I think that's kind of the idea of, you know, it passes down. So those skills, those ideas, those talents, like, it's not necessarily that it's gonna just happen. Sometimes it has to be pulled out and extracted. And I think that as parents, as coaches, like, we get to see that in the younger generation, and we get to kind of show them some of the things that we learned, and that, you know, with the abilities that we have, the skills, the talents that we have, even though we've gone past our player years, like, as a mentor, as a coach, as a leader, like, we can show them some of the things. And if they're receptive, if we can help them be coachable, you know, and sometimes that's all you can teach them is how to be coachable. Like, I mean, and it's hard to train being coachable, but like, if you can show them that if they listen to certain things, it's going to have a certain result. And I think that's why, like, there's so many father-son duos and, like, professional sports, you know, just fathers play professional sports, and then all of a sudden 10, 20 years later, you see their son come up in professional sports and be a high-performing athlete. And I've actually got a little list, and just think about this. King Griffey Sr., King Griffey Jr., Dale Curry, Steph Curry.
Well, and the Griffeys actually played together. Like, they were actually on the same team. Which is even more incredible that the dad had a long career.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
you figure it would happen. It's crazy that it doesn't happen more. Because I just figured with athletes, it's like, all right, almost every athlete that got probably a son or daughter, and you just figure, well, they're going to have a better camps to go to. They're going to have better access. They're going to have different things to go to.
And genetics.
But it really, for sure. Genetics, but it really doesn't happen. If you think about how many athletes there are, it doesn't happen as much. But the ones that it's happened with are...
It's special.
I mean, the fielders.
It's special, yeah. The Mannings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole prominent family. Like, for generations have been...
And elite
athletes.
And even got a grandson. I mean, you know, got Archie going. I think he's still at Texas, but yeah, it's incredible to have that longevity of.
We just saw one, Tim Hardaway Sr. and Tim Hardaway Jr. You know, like, really great athletes, Muhammad Ali and Layla Ali. Like, you know, it's really cool to see that. And I think that just kind of speaks to that, playing with your kids. Like, yes, they have the access. They probably sent them to some good camps and did all these things. But I don't think for 1 second that these parents, these fathers, were not a part of
sure.
Were not a part of that molding of making them into that better athlete. And I think that that's what we are all called to do as fathers, is to help raise and train up these children to be the best version of themselves that they could possibly be. And not just as good as we are,
But better.
but better.
Well, and that's all. So I'm going to ask you this. So LeBron was sitting with, what's his wife's name?
Oh, right.
But they were doing an interview and they were talking about Bronny, and they said, what do you want him to play professional basketball? And she spoke up and she said, I just want him to be happy. If he doesn't want to play, if he wants to do whatever. And then they go to LeBron. LeBron said, I'm going to play basketball. Yeah. What are you talking about? And so I want to get your opinion on this. So when he gets ready to, I think LeBron's staying in this. I mean, he's also still playing at a high level, which is unbelievable. That's a whole nother topic. But do you think it does a team, and I'm taking the father-son aspect out of it, but do you think it does a team a disservice for them to draft Bronny on the potential of getting LeBron, even though, for everything that I've seen, which he's young, I mean, he has the makeup to be a good NBA talent. But if he wasn't LeBron James' son, he may be a G League or late second-round pick. But if you have the chance to get LeBron, do you think it does a team a disservice just because of what he's trying to do?
I think that it's a really cool story to have around your team. I think that it's a cool narrative. And now anymore, like, it's not just basketball out there. It's not just whatever sport you're playing. Like, it's the whole narrative. Like, it is a whole show. It's a campaign. Like, it's all of that. And so with that being the case, I think that that's a good story to have around your franchise. I think LeBron is a good enough player to help, train up his son. I don't know how long he stays in the league after LeBron retires. I think that if that's the one thing that LeBron wants to happen, and that keeps him at your franchise and allows you to go and potentially be in the race, make the playoffs again, do something, I think that you go for it. You try it and see if him being with his dad can help, propel him in a different way. There's a lot of NBA players who get on and are just practice team people.
Yeah.
There's a lot of NBA players who get on and they travel and they go to different, teams. There's a lot of NBA players who get on and they're there for 2 years and then they're gone. And so, and they have a different career path. And I think that that's cool. I think that it's a good story around a good franchise. And if they want to, produce that narrative, then let them produce that narrative. Like, let them have it, because you have obviously built this team around LeBron.
Yeah.
I mean, you built a team around him. That's the one thing he said he wanted to do before he got up out of here. Like, let him have it. I have seen a lot of the Bronny, the combine and all that stuff, and he's.
The thing is, too, I don't take the combine as much into it, just because some guys don't do well at that. I mean, he has the build. The only thing I saw that I do agree with is he's an in-between position, which is going to be tough. He's too small to play the 3, but he's not quick enough to play really the 2 or the 1.
Yeah.
But I don't like it. I don't like the fact, from a father's standpoint, I think it's incredible for LeBron. But I hate that it's like you want to do it so bad that this team, and I mean, you burn a pick on somebody, which they burn picks every year with awful talent, but you're going to burn it just so that he'll stay there. Is he going anywhere anyways?
I don't know.
And if, say, the 76ers decided to pick up Bronny, like, is LeBron going to take a big enough pay cut to go? You know what I mean? Crazy. Is he right? He could make on a crazy team. Just think about the worst team if the Spurs drafted Bronny, and then LeBron was like, "I'll take $20 million less a year," and then now he's on the Spurs.
Now let's be honest: if the Spurs draft Bronny and LeBron ends up going and playing with Wemby, it's probably going to be a problem.
It is, but that's what I'm saying right now. If he wants to play with his son so bad, I'm like, think about how good he could make a legit team,
yeah,
without it being the narrative of, well, you got to get my Now he's got the power. He's been the greatest.
He's got the power.
He's done it. Yeah,
He's got the power. He's forged good relationships at these places. He's forged a really good a good relationship with like the upper management at the Lakers organization. He really has. And so I don't know. I think that's cool. Your goal, you said you wanted to dunk.
Yes, and I want you. So by December 31st, I'm gonna be able to dunk.
I like it. So I want to help you with that. But here's the thing: is I think that you're already taking precautions to do that. Is that secret juice? You know, in Space Jam.
It is
that you just drank, because I know you've got coffee, but you've also got this other juice. Like I don't know what you're staying pretty hydrated.
I don't comment on it. A lot of people comment because I normally bring 2 or 3. The problem is I got a little bit of coffee, but it's 460 degrees outside, and so as I'm drinking this, I'm like, well, I'm getting a little hot. So then I got ice cold water to balance it back out. So some people drink it because they want the caffeine. I'm more of like I just like the way it tastes.
That's right.
And so I'll drink some of this, but the problem is, if it's too hot outside, I mean, your boy be sitting in here, I'll just be sweating.
Sweating up.
Yeah. They'll be like, man, what are they talking about in that podcast? He's so nervous and sweating. So I try to even it back out with the water. But I do feel like I could probably go get some air right now. I mean, I could go dunk the ball. I might be able to go dunk right now.
You think so?
I got so much caffeine going right now. And we may need a video one day.
We do.
Well, we need to start. I'm gonna get a start video in that episode 3. We're gonna have this is his attempt right now where he's at.
So I think we're definitely going to have some off podcast videos that are going to be in social and all this stuff. Like we definitely have to do that. And as you know, like we're still working out all the kinks on this podcast. I think that it's going to be phenomenal. We're going to continue to grow it and make it big and all this stuff. It's probably going to be the #1 podcast in the world within the next year or so.
It may already be. That's just
how it works. That's just how it works.
Yeah.
But we're definitely gonna have to do some things off air, like where we're watching you go for this dunk. You're definitely gonna have to dunk by the end of the year. I want to flush two-handed. Like I'm telling you, I barely got up there, and I took everything I had. Took everything I had, bro, and I obviously didn't have it to give because my knee.
Well, it's that landing. That's what it wasn't the takeoff. It was when you come back down.
I hate that I'm gonna have to now start wearing knee braces and ankle braces and all that stuff. Like I never wore that stuff.
So I had to wear an ankle brace because, quick story for you, I'm wearing the Iverson 3s.
Okay.
After practice one day, and they're low cut, right? I come down on the side of a guy's foot, and when I landed, my ankle rolled over, touched the court. I was out for like months. And so now, I mean, I can be walking across this carpet, stumble. Like I can roll it. I mean, I can sneeze wrong and roll my ankle. And so we went to a VBS the other night, and it was in a gym, and my buddy was like, I bet I couldn't even touch that backboard right now. And I was like, I mean, I could be sitting there strep throat and touch that backboard. Like I could do a layup and slap that backboard.
Yeah.
But it's that extra little bit. And because I'm also worried about landing. Like I'm worried after I dunk, landing and not.
Yeah, bro, I used to be able to do all kinds of stuff, Jason.
Yeah, we used to dunk up. Maybe I was on the 8-foot goal, but
I did all kinds of stuff. 10-foot goal, windmills, rock the cradles.
I need to see some video. I need to see some video of like 20-year-old Tony.
Okay,
like 18,
you
19,
will.
20.
You will. I need to find some. Like all this.
I need to talk to Mama Washington.
I was got second place and stayed at high jump. Like set a school record. Like like all this stuff. Well, tied a school record. The guy who said it's still a standing record. I don't know. Somebody may break this thing, but 6'10", you know, like
good gosh,
crazy.
That's like were you jumping over
my head?
Gosh,
over my head.
6'2" or 6'10"?
10.
Good gosh,
6'10".
Almost jumping over like Shaq.
There was a guy that jumped 7 foot. And no, I'm lying. 6'9". I attempted 6'10" and was unable to get 6'10". There was a guy jumping 7 foot whenever I went to state, in track for high jump, jumping 7 foot. This dude, now, when we played him in basketball, and he went on to play in the NBA.
Who was it?
Gosh dang it, bro. As I'm saying this, I can't think of his name.
My claim to fame would be McFadden, Darren McFadden. Just being like standing next to him and just seeing how different it was for like he ran over the biggest dude we had in football and just stood over him and did like this. First play of the game, we're like, oof.
There was a guy, Prentice Elliott, that was a bad dude, man, and he was supposed to be like number one. He went to OSU and like tore stuff up. He was a great basketball player, but football, he was one of those Barry Sanders type runners, run over here and then run back over here and then run here.
Takes the Super Bowl type.
Yeah,
Running back.
Crazy, but
Yeah, that's why I enjoy it, man. I try to get like there's times where it's hot or I've been working outside all day or doing something.
they are Giddens.
Giddens. I'm gonna look him up.
Look him up. Bad dude. Played at Kansas, and then went and played some G League ball, and then went and played for. Forget who he played for. Gosh, man, I gotta get my memory right.
Tell you
bro.
what, you got to get you got to get a mix.
I know this
Yeah.
is straight coffee. This is straight coffee.
See, that's the problem. You got to mix in the water. But yeah, that's why I feel bad. And sometimes it's like, you know what? Whether you want to or not, you got to get out there and play. You know, there's going to be times where you're like, I don't feel good or I'm tired or whatever. But, you know, the kids, and one thing I remember from being a kid is they're only going to want to play with you so long.
That's right.
Like it's at some point, and Dex is kind of getting that way for you. Like Dex is getting to the point where he's wanting, it's not playing anymore. It's like, let's go play catch. Let's go play basketball. Let's go do stuff to where you're not playing. Because right now, if me and Cope play soccer, it's more of us just kicking that ball all over the yard. Let's run. Let's do. And right now, he's shooting on an 8-foot goal with a regular basketball. He's like this close, which is incredible at 4 years old that he's able to do it. But like, there's going to be a time where they're like, nah, I'm going to go to my buddy's house. We're going to go play or go on, So it's like, There's times when Cope says, let's do this. And I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to, but I just remember play with him while you can. Because,
I think that's the thing too, is play with them. Like, we got to play with our kids. Like, we got to. And like what you're saying, at some point it turns into teaching.
Well, I want you to touch on this because you said it before we started the episode. When you're watching them when you play with them, I mean, it's as much for you as it is for them. But one thing that I think I want you to just touch on, because you had said this earlier, is when you see them accomplish something that you haven't seen them do yet, even if it's not cheer-worthy or act crazy, but it's something that you saw them do that you're like, I haven't seen them do that. Or you see how excited they get when they do make that first basket or whatever. Like, touch on how, doing that is just as much for you as a dad as it is for them.
It's powerful because it means that they are progressing and that there is there's room and they're starting to reach certain potentials. Like, and whenever you see certain things, like Dex does this dribble up, and he does it really good. And so he had been doing dribble up. I don't make him, but like I have him do dribble up every day. And so, and some of those drills, like he used to get frustrated on the drills because he couldn't do them. I'm like, you just got to keep doing them. That's how you learn how to do them. And then the other day I see him dribbling and he's doing in and outs and like doing all this stuff. He's 7, like going between his legs. He's figured it out finally. And, and it's just those little things that he wasn't able to do that were frustrating to him that then you see him be able to do. And, one little move, like I might show him one little move and it's hard for him to do. And then you see him be able to do it after weeks, months of practice. And you see him do it in a game or something or against another kid. And you're like, there's that progress. Yeah. Now it takes hold. That success drives you to teach them other things because they're actually learning these things.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the powerful, like that's what's powerful about it, is whenever they start realizing that, oh, okay,
it's working.
So this stuff is working. I want to know more. And that's how he is now. Now he's just a little, like a sponge. Like, I want to know more. Like, show me this, because whenever they start seeing success, and you start seeing those little successes, even if they don't see it, you see that the work is starting to take hold. And I think that that's what makes some of these great athletes powerful, is like they become better than their dads. They become better.
Yeah.
I mean, shout out to the dads who didn't make it and trained up amazing children. Tiger Woods' dad, the Williams, Venus and Serena's dad. Like, shout out to the people who had the wherewithal to try to make their children great.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. And I think that's what all dads really should strive to do, is try to make the next generation better than this one.
Yeah.
Even if it's not just sports, even if it's just making sure that your children are intelligent, are able to learn things and able to become better business people, or whatever the case may be, to train up the child to be not just as good, but better than.
Well, and it starts with playing with them.
Absolutely.
And I've given a lot of stories about Cope, but I want to share one real quick about Colin. So she's 3. Soccer, we tried to coach a soccer team a year and a half ago, and it was more of a babysitting gig as opposed to an actual soccer team. But this year she played soccer, and Cope's playing baseball. And beginning of the year, I mean, she couldn't kick the ball. Like, by the time the ball got to her, she couldn't even make the decision to kick it. Like, it just, 3-year-olds, it's just a lot of running around. Last game of the year, it started off like we wanted her to score a goal. Like, that's our goal. But for her, like, she didn't care about that. Her was like, I want to kick it. I just want to keep kicking it.
Yeah.
So we'd play in the yard, and her last game of the year, where me and Casey were almost sitting there saying, are we going to do this again? Like, if she doesn't like it, like, we're going to do this again next year. She gets the ball, and she just takes it the length of the field. She didn't score. She didn't even go in the right direction of the goal. Goal's over here. She went this way. But she kicked that ball, and we were yelling so loud. And when she eventually kicked it out of bounds, she ran straight to me, picked her up. Like, Casey got a picture of us, like, doing like this. And it was so exciting because she was so like, you see me? I kicked it like 4 times. Like, she was the fastest one. She kicked it way ahead. If she could have just turned her body a little bit, she could have scored. But she just kept kicking it, and it went out of bounds. She just kept kicking. And I was like, kick it to the parking lot. Daddy will come pick you up. I don't even care. Get it out there. So, but again, man, this title, or this episode is playing with your kids, and that's what it is. I think kids need a present father.
Yeah.
They need a dad who's not, I mean, even if you're not teaching them, you're just there.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel like it doesn't have to be a life lesson every time you're outside with your kids. I always got worried that I wasn't going to drop some unbelievable knowledge on my son when we're outside playing, or with my daughter. I wasn't going to change her life with every time I spoke. But what I've noticed, like last night I was putting that Lego thing together that he asked about 500 times. It was like when we finally did it, I put the entire thing together. He sat right beside me, and when he got done, he played with it, and he was like, that's so exciting.
I think that's,
and it's just being present.
No, that's what it is. Playing with your kids, it's not just about training them. It's about being there. And sometimes you can be present and not be present. So, like, be present and enjoy this journey. Like, I really enjoy watching my children do little things. This not sports as well. Like, building something. My daughter drawing, like,
colored inside the lines.
Colored inside the lines, man. Like, that's really cool. Like, and so I think that's a very strong point to bring up. Not just trying to play with your kids to teach them, to coach them, but definitely to be present.
Yeah.
So they have those memories, man. Bro, this was a good episode.
Yeah. I got a dad joke.
Dad joke. Let's go. Let's go.
What did one casket say to the other?
What did one casket say to the other? Come on with it.
Is that you coughing?
Hey, that's good, man.
Shut the dang door, Tony, with the keys.
The dang door.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Episode 2 in the books.
We're in your
2 out of forever. See you later.